Guava. What's up, y'all? Live from 73. I might even go outside for this. I think I will. Just, I got some new neighbors and they smoke. And I can't stand the smell of cigarette smoke. Anyway. Before I get on here, I just want to say something real quick. For everybody that has a Ring doorbell or security system and you getting your neighborhood notifications from your neighbors, I'm going to give y'all a quick scam. I know this ain't got nothing to do with my video, but I just want to put this out here. They are scamming people saying, if you are missing a package, it's at my house, come and get it. Or it'll say, a package was delivered to my house and I don't know who it belonged to. Can somebody come and get it? Y'all, that's a scam. Everybody and their daddy is falling for that scam. Don't do it. They don't tell you who. They don't give you a name. They don't give you an address because they don't need to say somebody got a package at my house, can you come and get it, if they just return it. Or if they just drive on down to the address and just drop it off. That's what I always do. Every time I get a package that belongs to somebody else, I just take it to that address and drop it off. Okay? So if you are contacting these people on your Ring app, they are scamming you and you might get robbed, if not worse. Please beware. Be careful. These some crazy times. And they playing with all of our social media. They're even playing with your security. That's why I hate that neighborhood app. Is my dog missing? Hey, somebody said, hey, can I find a nurse for my mama while I go out of town? You're looking on the Ring app to find a nurse, an in-house care nurse for your mother while you're out of town. But you're looking for help on the Ring app. Please. If y'all fall for, listen, if you fall for that stuff, you almost deserve to get got. Okay? So, I had to get that out of the way because that's driving me crazy. And then somebody be like, oh, I got scammed. Gosh. Okay? Hey, everybody in the house, let me see. Let me back up and see who I got in here so far. I ain't even got my glasses. My own beautiful Carolyn, or no, Kate, I think that's Carolyn, Q-Dub, Old McMoney, Second Floor Gardens, growing with Hudson. What's up, my sister? DP, 09, Sam Whittle, Granny Karma in the house. What's up, Granny Karma Homestead? Let's see. Carolina, I think that is. And for barbecue, what's going on? Yolanda. Okay. I can't. Gardening Life, I don't know what that is. Damn, what's going on with my eyes? Flashback, I think it is. I don't know. What's going on, everybody? Let's go. Let's get it. I got this question more than one time in 1 week, and I think it's time for me to address it. I need to get my glasses real quick so I can see what y'all are talking about, because this is going to be a conversation that a lot of folks ain't going to understand, and there's nothing I can do about that. All right, let me find some kind of site. All right, y'all. I'm gonna wear my wife glasses, cause I know where mine is, and I'm not going out there. What's going on? Let me see if I can pull this off. It ain't so shabby. Oh, I can see everybody now. What's going on? All right. I want to get right into this video and answer. Gardening Divas, you ain't got to tell. She always give them to me, and I'm the one that don't want them. Trust me. Let's get right into this video, because I want to, hey, Katina. How you doing, Katina Brooks? Let's get into this video because I want to get rid of some some fake and some phony and some myths and some truth about gardening. I've been getting this video, this comment or this question. The comments are usually derogatory, but the questions, some of them are questions, so they're straightforward. The question is this: Laird Farmer, why you always talking about politics and stuff, and you don't be talking about gardening anymore? Flatbush, I can see you now. I can see it now. I couldn't see it without the glasses. Thank you, Bozark. Thank you. Because that's some serious information, what I said at the very beginning of this video. If you didn't see it, please go back and watch it. Because it's very important. And it's real. And people is getting scammed and people is getting robbed. Anyway. Laird Farmer 73. Why don't you garden anymore like you used to? I need y'all to really, really ask yourself that question. Have you wondered that about me? Hey, Miss Shirley OG Garden, how you doing? Hey, Kim Job, how you doing? Have you wondered that about me as well? I'm asking. Are you wondering, like, why don't he garden anymore? Say, yes, but I like the talks also. Yeah, okay. Red Wine Entertainment, how you doing? Tiny Purple said, no, I figure you still gardening, just not showing it. Nope, that's not all the way true. Old McMoney, no, assumed you still do. Yes, I do. I absolutely do. No, because of the move. No, I haven't moved anywhere yet. What's going on, Rucker Homestead? Look like you still gardening to me. Yeah, yes, I am. Let's get right into it. EV, oh, that's a lot of letters. EV says, not at all. You have a lot of plants to maintain. Okay, let's get right into this. I still garden to this very day. For everybody to keep asking, Laird Farmer, why don't you garden anymore? I do. I do just as much gardening as I used to back in the day. It just looks different. So the lies that's being spewed out to people from different videos or whatever, people just trying to get views and likes and clicks. I need you to understand some truth. Some people are out there to get views and clicks and looks and watch hours. I get it. But then it's people that's been in this game a long time where, listen, I don't have to do as much hard work anymore, because once you've been gardening for so many years, let me see. Say some are asking me that to make me stop talking about politics. Well, it's not. Well, that's kind of probably true, but in a way, some people really do wonder what's going on. I talk about what's going on at the time, and right now, what's going on at the time is political, and that's the only reason I talk about it. Back in the day, I didn't talk about it because I didn't want to go back and forth with people for no good reason. Now I talk about it because number one, it let me know where people stand and let me know who the hell to stay away from. And number two, it let me know, you know, I'm not going to pretend that this stuff ain't out here happening while it's literally affecting my life and our lives in a heavy way. So I'm not going to pretend that's not happening. You understand? So I feel that I have a platform and I need to say something. And I need to be truthful about it, whether I like it or not. And the truth is, right now, politics are horrible and it's affecting all of our lives in a very negative way. So, that's why I talk about politics. If spaceships was in the air, I would be talking about spaceships. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it is. If that was affecting my life in a negative or positive way, that's what we'd be talking about. Now, 8 years ago, when everything seemed peachy keen and everything was going great and everybody was fairly happy, I didn't have to talk about politics because it wasn't affecting my life in a negative way. It wasn't affecting your life in a negative way. There were some things that you don't like about politics, and there were some things I didn't like, but it wasn't worth wasting a whole hour or 2 or 4 worth of time on a video to talk about it because there was no solutions to it, not necessarily. That's why I talk about politics. It's not because I like politics, because I don't. It's not because I like politicians, because I don't. It's because I feel that I have a platform and some people are a little shy and nervous to speak up and say something, and I'm not. So when I speak, I hope I'm speaking for other people that feel the same way. They just don't want to talk about it. Now, why don't I garden the way I used to? Here's the truth. Again, I told you about the fake. Some people still doing this stuff for likes, clicks, and views. Likes, clicks, and views. And I get it. There's no problem with that. I get it, though. But I'm going to tell you the truth about gardening. If you're doing it right, you won't have to worry about your garden as much. Every year, you should have to work less in your garden. I know I'm going to get a lot of pushback from that. But I'm going to tell you why I say you every year that passes, you shouldn't have to work as hard in your garden as you did 10 years before that. If you're still working as hard in your garden 10 years later down the line, you may be doing something wrong. Either you're doing something wrong, or let's just say maybe you're expanding. But if you're still taking care of that same piece of land or that same lot or that same garden with as much energy as you did 10 years ago, I'm here to tell you you're doing something wrong. And I'm going to tell you how I can prove it. Let's just say every year you plant the same things, right? Every year you plant the same stuff. You're going to put that much energy into it every year. I get it, because you can't plant celery different. You can't plant cucumbers different, yada, yada, yada. But here's the part where you shouldn't be working as hard 10 years later. It's because in 10 years, you mean to tell me you didn't get your soil to a point where or you didn't learn how to keep your soil and feed your soil and understand that your soil feeds your garden? See, the reason why I worked harder 10 and 15 years ago is because I was building up that soil. If you don't feed your soil and build up your soil, you're going to work that hard, if not harder, every single year, and that's not the way it should be. It's just not the way it should be. You should be bringing organic materials into your garden every year to build your garden up, to make your garden more healthy. Some years you should even let your garden rest so your garden can bring in beneficial insects and beneficial creatures to help build your soil in your garden. If you're not doing that and you're trying to be greedy, and you're trying to take out of your garden every year, every season, if you keep on taking out your garden, there will be nothing left. And people don't quite understand that. And once you keep taking out your garden and there's nothing left, you only have one alternative, and that is to put chemicals in your soil. The chemicals will kill the beneficial insects and creatures to help your garden. So every year what you're doing when you put those chemicals in to try to feed the plants, you're killing everything else. Everything, you're killing it. That plant is growing off of some artificial nutrients. Okay? That plant is growing off of artificial nutrients. Where let's go over here. My boy, I don't want y'all to hear him bang out a couple of chili burritos or nothing, okay? Let's take it out front here. Hold on a second. Because I don't want to sit next to that bathroom while he about to bang the beats. All right. Ooh. All right. Well, I did that pretty good, didn't I? Okay. So, all right. So this is why I don't garden the way I used to. Is because, let me see. You shouldn't have to. Every year you should be putting, say you don't have that much work and your garden is going good, you should be still dumping organic material on top of your garden bed every year, and then turning it in. Necessarily, you don't even necessarily got to turn it in, like, till it in. You can just set it on top, because what's going to happen if you're not putting a bunch of chemicals in your garden, the beneficial insects and organisms like worms are going to come up to the top and get that nutrients and spread it all around. So say my family keeps telling me to spray chemicals on my garden because of the bugs. I'm telling you, that's the worst thing you could ever do. So that's why I don't work as hard, but we get even more food. You get what I'm saying? Where y'all always see me at? You always see me on Freedom Makers, where you don't even see Lady Led, but you don't even realize we do just as much work, kind of like, before, but we don't be busting no sweats. The only time y'all see me really going in and busting a sweat is because I'm on Freedom Acres trying to start a farm. Think about this. Every time you see me here at my house, you don't see me working hard. You usually see me in my pajamas and I'm pulling fruit off these trees. Why don't you see us in the stages of preparing for each and every season for planting? Because it's really nothing to do anymore but wait until the season, wait till it's that planting season to plant again. If you're planting in containers, that even makes it a little bit easier. And all you're really worrying about is watering. And if you have a drip irrigation system, you're not even thinking about being out there pulling weeds all day. So, and then if you have ground cover, oh my goodness. If you end up investing in ground cover and water irrigation systems, you're not pulling weeds, your watering is being done, and all you really are worrying about is infestations and fertilization. So you're working a third less than you used to if you just invest in certain things. So over time, if you're not picking up on that type of information, you are literally wasting your time and energy. In 10 years' time, you got to start figuring out what works and what don't. That's my other point. My other point is this. In 10 years' time, you got to really start to barrel down and say, I'm not going to try to grow that anymore. It doesn't work in my zone. So let me let that go. I know tomatoes going to do well. Over 3 years, 4 years of time, you start realizing what works, what doesn't work in your grow zone or in your own microclimate. After a while, you start to say, that doesn't work for me. Even though the tag says it's perfect for my zone. It's perfect for your zone, but it's wrong for your own personal microclimate, meaning your yard, meaning everything you have around your home, right? How your trees are blocking the wind, how much sun you got coming over your house. That's your microclimate. Are you down in a valley like I am? That's my microclimate. I'm in a fishbowl, right? So my microclimate lets me grow citrus like I'm in Florida. I got oranges and I got satsumas, I got lemons, I got limes, I got, that stuff is growing right there in my face. Where a little ways down the road, higher up on the hill, he may not be able to grow that stuff. And he ain't got no bushes, he ain't got no trees to block that cold air. So all of that, after 3 or 4 years, you start to realize, okay, let me stop trying to grow mangoes. They don't work. Let me stop trying to grow avocados. That doesn't work, right? Let me see. So learning what grows in your zone is going to hit on all cylinders. Even though you really, really want, let me say, let's say you really, really want oranges. That just may be something that you have to pamper and bring your Satsuma orange tree in the house every winter. And you're going to only grow so many, but you will be growing them. But you know good and well you can't grow them in the ground. So that's just something you're just going to have to sacrifice and let go. Okay? Now, I got one more for you. Lead Farmer 73, why don't you garden the way you used to? No, that ain't one more. I got a couple more for you. Why don't you garden the way you used to? Number one, Lead Farmer 73 is getting old. Okay? So that's one of the biggest things is your age and your health. Even though you may be, older and everything and it may not affect you, but if you're old and unhealthy, that can affect the way you garden. And I'm being realistic, whether it's physically, you have something wrong physically, and you just can't move the way you used to no more. Like Miss Shirley OG had a couple surgeries, or several people out here had a couple surgeries, and you just can't get down on the, get down on the floor. You can't scrub the ground like you used to, out there in the garden and be bent over in the hot sun pulling up weeds like it ain't nothing. Now you got to give that backbone a rest. Now you need to go in here and hydrate. It ain't like it used to be where you could just be out here all day and you don't get some kind of sunburn on your skin. You understand? And if you've had certain surgeries or operations, you need to take into heed about that stuff. So your age and your health plays a big part of it too. I'm not going to even pretend that doesn't count, because we all have elders and we all know our elders. Like your grandmama used to be a gardening fool, right? And as your grandmama aged, you see now she just grows tomatoes, or now she just grows squash. Now she just grows okra, right? But when you was a little kid, your grandmother grew everything. I've heard this story time after time after time. My grandmama had pigs, she had goats, she had chickens, she had cows, she had okra, she had corn. How many people got grandparents like that, or parents? Give it to me. How many people? How many people know them stories? Like my mama used to grow, she used to have chickens, goats, cows, beans, green, tomatoes, potatoes, cow, right? Come on, raise your hand. How many people, parents or grandparents, had it like that? Right? And then as you watch them age and you went to go visit them, and it's like, oh, grandma, what's going on with the garden? Yeah, I can't get out there the way I used to. I got a little okra out there, I got a couple beans out there, but I can't be out there all day like I used to, and I can't keep it watered like I used to. Because grandma ain't put no drip irrigation on nothing, okay? Grandma used to sit out there and water that garden by hand every day. And we all know you can't keep doing it like that as you age and be in that sun like that. You're going to hurt yourself you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to become unhealthy trying to get healthy or try to stay healthy. And that doesn't equal out, okay? Right, you name it. That's right, Katina Brooks. Now, I have one more big secret. To share with all of you, that you need to take heed and listen close. And in this one, I normally don't tell people, do as I do. This one, do as I do. It works. While you are on your hands and knees every season, pulling weeds, planting seeds, pulling weeds, planting seeds every single season. Nothing wrong with that. But you got to be smart about it too. Your real garden is planting your fruit trees around your orchard. Your real garden is planting fruit trees in containers and on your balcony and on your porch, your front porch, your back porch, your patio, in your yard. Anywhere you can fit a fruit tree, you need to be planting it. Do you know, you won't believe this, but can you believe people used to get mad at me back in the, about 10 years ago or whatever been? He don't got no garden. He don't got no garden at all. You can't just eat fruit all the time. I heard this, I swear. I even still got the recordings of people saying this. Your fruit gonna get diabetes and all of this. You gotta grow. I can't make this up. And the funny thing is, the same people that was telling me I don't have a garden and I'm not a gardener because I grow fruit trees, they took a turn and started growing mostly fruit trees. Why? Why on God Green Earth am I telling you to stop what you're doing and plant as many fruit trees as you can? Because I can show you better than I can tell you. Because all of them trees right there, me and my wife harvested, as small as they are, those trees can't be no more than 7 feet tall, each one of them, and little tiny little skinny trunks. But let me tell you something about each one of them. We got at least a 5-gallon bucket of fruit off of each and every last one of them, all except for this little guy, because that's a Anjou pear. He ain't even supposed to be here, but I'm toughing it out. Not him, that little guy. Do you understand what I'm saying now? I don't have to do anything else. You put a little organic fertilizer under them. You put a little organic fertilizer. You put some compost down there, and you walk away. You put as much as you can. You see them little holes down around. How many people see the little hole around the base of every tree? I need you to pay attention to that. Can you see that little hole around the base of every tree? Let me try to zoom in. See that hole right here? Is one under this one. It's one under that one. And it's one under that one. And it's one under that one. And it's one under this one. Every tree. Can you tell me why? I leave, since I'm on this hill. I'm on a hill. So since I'm on a hill, I dig out a bowl around each tree. Because every time it rains, the water runs down that hill. If I don't put a bowl around every tree, all of the water just rushes past the tree and it never gets a drink, ever. Each bowl is to catch water. Well, when it's time for me to drop fertilizer in it or compost, I put it right in that bowl. And you know what it lets me know? It lets me know that tree is uptaking that nutrients that I gave it, because that bowl will come back naturally. I don't keep digging holes in that ground. That tree, that compost breaks down into the soil and keeps that bowl every year. When I see that bowl won't go down, I go in and I might scrape it to see what's going on. Okay, maybe I got the wrong compost or it's not breaking down fast enough, but I do something to stop or to restart that bowl, because that bowl is still catching water. That bowl is still catching nutrients. Okay, so my secret of why I don't garden the way I used to here on Easley Island is because I don't have to. I'm no different than I was before. But I will say this, if you're still breaking your back out there in the garden 10 years later, you're doing it wrong. I know I'm gonna get some pushback from that. And if you feel me, you can go ahead and touch on that. But it's the truth. 10 years later, if you're still breaking your freaking spine trying to get fruit and vegetables, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. How many people ever heard of Back to Eden garden with the wood chips? Back to Eden gardening using wood chips instead of using soil per se is a excellent, excellent way and excellent proof of everything I'm saying. As those wood chips and that green material break down into compost, and all of that nutrients is being uptaken by the garden and uptaken by your fruit trees. Let me tell you something. It works. You want to ask me, well, Led, well, why don't you do the wood chip garden anymore? Because I was getting wood chips from places that was bringing in poison ivy and weird vines that don't do well, or they have overrun my land. So that made me shy away from the wood chip gardening thing. If I knew where I could get the wood chips and I knew the trees were okay, I would do that. But I don't, and there's really not too many ways that you can prove the situation. But if you want to ask me, does the system work? Absolutely. I did it for years. No weeds, no nothing. You ain't even got to fertilize this thing, nothing. Everything just worked. So with that being said, the truth of the matter is, if you can get wood chips, and do the Back to Eden garden, and you know exactly where the wood chips came from, I say do it, because you will work 90% less. You will break your back 90% less than you used to, faster even, faster than you did without the wood chip garden. Okay. So that's my secret. My secret is I planted a bunch of fruit trees year after year after year after year after year. And then 10 years down the line, every year I work less, and every year I get more fruit. Every year, every single year. Every year I don't have to bring up as much compost because the tree's roots are reaching out and spreading out and hunting for food. So they're doing all the work for me now. I don't have to make sure all the trees are staked up with a little stick and protect them, and they can protect themselves. So they know how to reach those roots out, those feeder roots out for nutrients and for water, and I don't have to do as much. So when you plant fruit trees, every year you do less work. That's the secret. So Old Led Farmer 73 has not stopped gardening. At all. At all. I just don't have to work as hard. So when y'all do see me do a gardening video, it's usually something in a container, ain't it? I don't have to do all of that. I got pecan trees back there 25 feet tall. Me and my wife, she in there canning pears. I can't make this up. She's in there canning pears yesterday. Then the livestock. What Old Led been doing? I had to go to Freedom Acres. That's why I released that video. And I had to harvest some livestock, which I brought back here, which y'all be watching out for that video. Okay? We had to put some meat in the freezer, and that's what I had to do. So if you're still gardening and you still doing the exact same thing you did 10 years ago, or 5 years ago, or even 3 years ago, you're doing it wrong. If you're trying to, let me ask y'all this. We've been in here 30 minutes, right? I'm gonna ask y'all this, and then I'm looking for you to answer it. First, before I ask this question, I want to give a shout out to my girl, Gina versus Gina. If anybody ever heard of Gina versus Gina, is GINA VSGINA all together. Gina versus Gina. Have you heard of her? Has anybody heard of a channel? My friend, her name is Gina versus Gina. I'm asking this question before I ask another question. LGG says yes. Willie says yes. 2A says yes. Veronica says yes. Precious SoCal Gardener says yes. Cheryl the Gardening Artist says yes. Fatima says yes. Second Floor Garden says yes. LGG second yes. Yvette says yes. LA says yes. Tasha says no. Tasha, go subscribe. Trust me. Brittany says yes. Grammy, yeah. Hey, Grammy, yeah. How you doing, beautiful lady? Says yes. 4747 says yes. YC says yes. I have heard of her. Let me see. Ladybug, Gina versus Gina is a favorite. Thank you, Ladybug. Monique says yes. Miss Shirley OG, I know you know, cause she in the club, right? She in the group. Tanya says no. Tanya, please go over and subscribe to Gina versus Gina. Let her know I sent you over there. Trust me, you'll understand when I send you. My Renaissance grandma, how you doing, my Renaissance grandma? I said Gina versus Gina, absolutely yes. Katina Brooks says yes. Jackie Griffin says yes. Tasha Rain said will do. Thank you so much for that. Learning to grow my own, my brother. What's going on? Yes, indeed, he says. Creative Growth says no. Creative Growth, please go check out my sister Gina versus Gina. It's capital G-I-N-A-V-S, capital G-I-N-A. Gina versus Gina. Okay? You'll see why. Grammy, I say I learned of her from you. Thank you. That's a good friend of mine. Now I want to tell you why I'm mentioning my friend Gina versus Gina. I'm mentioning her because she put out a video and it's her motto. Her motto, and she sells t-shirts with her motto on it that says growing with purpose. Growing with purpose. That's her motto. She has a lot of merch that says growing with purpose. So the reason I wanted to shout her out and I wanted to mention her motto is because everybody should be thinking this way. You have to stop and ask yourself, what are you doing this for? Why are you doing this? Why are you gardening? Are you just gardening and growing stuff because everybody else is growing this? Or are you growing the squash? Or are you growing the tomato because everybody else is growing this kind of tomato? Or are you growing for yourself? Are you growing for your family? If you're not growing your garden for you and you're not growing your garden for your family, you're doing it wrong. Please go check out Gina versus Gina and you'll understand what I'm talking about. And look for her video, Gardening with Purpose. Gardening with Purpose. I think I said growing with purpose, didn't I? It's either growing or gardening with purpose. Go look for it, okay? I got you mixed up with Growing with Hudson. Growing with Hudson, you hear that? This is I'm asking you right now, everybody watching me, why are you gardening? Why? A real reason. Don't say nothing to sound, really, why are you doing it? So you can get more likes and views on YouTube? Because I'm going to tell you, that'll never work. The only thing that works like that now is if you saying I stuck this potato in this banana and got a patana and it's delicious. It's the shape of a potato, but it tastes like a banana. And you just peel it like a banana. Then you start seeing stupid stuff like that. Say I see gardening on purpose is this it? Whatever's on her channel, however she put it, that's it. Say not. Sherry says not to starve when push comes to shove. Okay. Women of Wonder says food recalls and sustainability. Okay. Understood. Understood. So I wanted to make sure y'all went over there and saw her because she goes in depth in several videos with gardening with purpose. Okay, and I'm not going to go and go there, but I wanted to touch on that because I needed to ask everybody, hey, listen, what are you doing this for? If you're not trying to have food for the future and not have to work as hard, you're doing it wrong. I'm gonna put another thing on your mind. If you're not, um, if you think you're gonna be healthy and young for the rest of your life, you're fooling yourself. So what you should be doing is gardening just like you're preparing for retirement. When you're at your job, you putting money to the side. I hope you putting money to the side. At your job, ain't you putting money to the side? Preparing for the days where you can't work as hard because of your health and your age. That's exactly how you should be treating your garden. You should be treating your garden like you're preparing it to take care of you in your old age and in your retirement. That is another spin on Gina versus Gina, gardening with purpose. If you're not preparing your garden for the days of your retirement and getting it ready so it's not as hard to work, it's very easily accessible, it's already pretty much watering itself, it's already pretty much feeding itself. All you got to do is put on your cute little hat and put on your cute little gloves and get your little matching snippers and go out there and snip a couple broken branches and little diseased sticks. If you're not doing that, you are doing it wrong. I don't be out. Y'all don't see me with Fisker loppers out on this land no more. You don't see me out here lopping off branches and no more. Because what you should be doing is, if you've been doing it right, all your branches ain't brown. All your branches ain't dead. All your branches ain't broken because they strong enough to take care of themselves now. Everything should be taking care of itself by now. It's almost like your child. Okay, 18, they still bumping their head. 24, they still need a good talking to. When you start hitting your 30s now, if you still messing up, that's some bullshit. Either you doing something wrong or I did something wrong. That's how your trees and your fruit trees and your orchard and your garden should be. If you've been at this for damn 4, 5 years, 10 years, and it still ain't doing right, now you got to start asking yourself, what am I doing wrong, or what is my garden doing wrong? Maybe I'm not putting enough soil, I'm putting the wrong soil on the ground. Maybe the soil that I already have down there is trash. Maybe I should switch to wood chips. You have to start making them decisions for the health and the life of your garden. Because once you get old, let me stop saying old. Once you get older and your health slowly starts to decline, your physical ability slowly starts to decline, you're not going to be picking out no shovel and digging no giant holes to do all this stuff. It's just truthful, okay? I want to run a pipe out on Freedom Acres from all the way back from the well that I dug all the way to the cabin. And I said, oh, I'm going to just get this shovel and I'm going to dig me a trench 35, 40 feet long with this shovel. With that sun beating down on my baseball hat. Yeah, I took about a good 10 scoops of dirt and then I went in the house. I said, I'll get back to that in the morning. There's still a bunch of that missing. So now my whole thought is I may have to rent a trencher because I'm not going to be out there doing that, throwing my back out and getting dehydrated till I can feel my heartbeat in my teeth. You ever been so dehydrated that you can feel your heartbeat in your teeth? Yeah, that means take your goofy ass in the house, and get you some cold water, man. Come on out this sun. When you can feel, if you can take your pulse in your teeth, go on in the house. Okay? So that's why I move different. Cause I'm not trying to impress anybody on social media or anywhere around in my life whatsoever at all. If I get the views and I get the likes, that's a bonus. But for the most part, that's not why I'm doing this. That's not why I ever was doing this. I'm trying to keep food in the cabinets, food in the cupboards, food preserved and put away. So if something pop off, we gonna eat. Uh, so here's my question to you: what are you gardening for? What do you? Why do you have livestock? Because I hear some people got livestock, and you be like, I couldn't see myself butchering my chickens. Why are you doing this? You know, I got pigs, and people said, "Led, you ain't gonna eat them pigs. You ain't gonna be able to break them pigs down. You done named them and everything." Well, now I changed their name into breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They in there in a cooler. That's gonna be a video, so y'all better watch it. Well, turn these pigs into sausages. Okay, all right. 1 minute is squink, squink, squink. The next minute is okay. If you if you don't have a reason for what you're doing, you're wasting your time, you're wasting everybody else's time. And you'll never get the clicks and the views. You'll get bored with it once the views ain't coming, once the clicks ain't coming. Next thing you know, I give up on YouTube. I give up on TikTok. I give up on Instagrams. I'm done. People ain't watching me. You're doing it to try to force people to watch you. You're not doing it because you're hungry. You're not doing this, you're not growing this stuff because you want to put food away for your family. You're trying to get views and likes because you think you're going to get some big giant mega check from YouTube or TikTok. That ain't how this works. If you get a check from YouTube or TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, that's the bonus. See, that's the bonus. That's the cream on the milk, okay? But the real payoff should be you got a cupboard full of food. The real payoff should be you have a deep freezer full of meat. The real payoff should be like I got more food than I know what to do with. Right now, do you understand me and Lady Led is in there like, I think we're gonna run out of jars. Now I constantly buy canning jars, canning lids, and I got a garage full of them. But I'm like, I don't think we're gonna make it. I think we're gonna run out. Our only problem now, instead of worrying about breaking our backs, is man, do we got enough jars? So what say you? Design says, I'm 65 and just learning how to can my harvest 1 jar at a time. And that's all you gotta do. 1 jar at a time. 1 jar at a time. So, LGG says, Led, I'm looking for disease-free fruit trees for my next orchard. See, what you're doing is smart. Instead of things that get fire blight real easy and all that other stuff, now I think I better invest in something that's more disease resistant. That means you're growing. It's just not your garden growing, it's you. You're not going to come out another year and have a whole dead tree burnt up from fire blight. You sick of that, right? So was I. Apple trees, sick of that. So I started only planting things less disease resistant, more disease resistant, and will work in my climate, in my microclimate, in my zone. Are they all the things I really truly want? No, because I would love a Honeycrisp apple. Honeycrisp ain't gonna do good here. So I had to grow a Pink Lady apple and grow a Anna and a Dorset Golden and a Granny Smith and a Yellow Delicious. Are they all my favorites? No. Pink Lady is, but the rest, eh. But it's food that can be put away and turned into anything, even if it's being turned into wine or fuel. So everything that you grow should be having dual purposes on it too. So don't just think, oh, I just got some apples. What am I gonna do with all these apples? I can't eat all these apples. If you can't eat all the apples, turn some of them into vinegar. If you can't eat all the apples, put some of them in a jar. If you can't eat all the apples, turn some of them into wine. If you can't eat all the apples, turn some of them into fuel. All of this. If you can't eat that many, you need some chickens so you can feed them to your chickens. That means you're feeding your livestock for free. I took 2 5-gallon buckets to Freedom Makers the other day. 2 5-gallon buckets of apples and pears. I fed my livestock for free. All my chickens and all my pigs were, all the pigs that's left, are eating for free. I didn't have to spend no money. It's falling out of my tree. So the more trees you grow, that's even less money coming out your pocket, because you feeding your own chickens, you feeding your own pigs, you feeding your own goats, you feeding your own quail. The food is falling out the tree that you didn't spend that much energy and time and money on those. See how that works? See how that works? That's how that works. Once you get those trees growing, and once you get your garden growing, and it's pretty much taking care of itself like that, it's not, you're gonna have more food than you know what to do with. Who wanna see, maybe I shouldn't show it. I'm gonna show one jar, and then I think she gonna let y'all see the rest. I ain't gonna do it. Just be on the lookout for Lady Led's video. She in there got her canning popping off. So while she was canning, I was butchering. Okay, so I'm gonna try my best to show you that, and I'm going to record the rest of me making the sausages. So, you know, because my video missed on a lot. Any questions? Any questions so far? This ain't gonna be a long video unless you make it long. It's not gonna be my fault this time. It's only gonna be a long video if you make it long, because I wanted to come in here and ask you, what are you doing? Led Farmer, why don't you garden like you used to? Because I don't have to. That's like asking a rich man, why come you don't be down there hustling on the corner no more? Right? Why don't you be down at the why'd you, I don't gotta hustle, man. I done messed around and saved up enough money where I don't gotta be down there. I messed around and got a good job. I ain't gotta be on the corner hustling. That's how I feel. I feel like a rich man. I don't gotta be busting my hump to get that money no more, because I done set myself up. I done invested in certain things that's gonna pay me. And I guarantee you this, I guarantee you this. If you plant them fruit trees in your yard or in them containers, they're gonna pay you back more money than you spent on fertilizer, on water, on the soil, on the tree itself. Say you spend $50 on a tree. That's pretty expensive. Say you spend $50 on a tree, and every year you spend another $50 on fertilizing it and watering it, okay? Let's just say you done spent $100 on this whole situation. So now that you purchased the tree, you purchased the soil and this water and the fertilization, you done spent $100. Every year, you still got to spend money on fertilization, and you got to spend money on water, no matter what you do. The soil is taken care of and everything else. Fertilization, water. After a while, you're not fertilizing as much. You're not watering as much. Next thing you know, your tree is paying you back in fruit. And what that fruit is worth more than anything you invested in the last 4 or 5 years. This one tree, this one that y'all watch me and Lady Led pull them pears off of, has given us more money in just that one harvest than anything that I've paid for that tree, whether it's the fertilization, it's the watering, anything. So now it's giving me more. It done paid me back. And now next year, just say it fruits like that again, it's all overhead. It's all profit. Cause now I just kind of let the rain do it, right? So, any questions? Last 5 minutes. Yay, nay, maybe say. I'm glad I got this out because, man, it feels really good. I got pecan trees full of nuts, trees full of fruit. I didn't even plant nothing in the ground at this house. We only planted like lettuce and stuff here. I got watermelons out on Freedom Makers. Watermelon, cantaloupe, sweet potatoes, uh, green peppers, jalapeno peppers, tomatoes. I got all that growing out there because that's the real farm. That's the real farm right there. But here, stuff that you eat every day, salad, right? I just wanted to put that on. I got a fig tree. I'm going to show y'all something that's going to tear your head off. Any questions first before I do this? Because that might be a whole nother video. No? All right. I'm going to show y'all one more thing that's pretty cool. All right? How many people remember, if I don't get no answers, I'll just let it go. How many people remember me cutting that fig tree down last year? And I took I air layered off each and every branch off of this Chicago Hardy fig. How many people remember that? Okay, Jerry says yes. Movington says yes. Miss Shirley OG says yes. And everybody said, aren't last year when I did a chili dog on that Chicago Hardy fig, and I don't know why that video went viral, but thank you. I cut it down to the trunk. Do you remember that? There was not. I think I left one little skinny branch on it. Right? You want to see it now? And I keep telling y'all that this is how, when you prune your trees, this happens every single year. Don't worry. Don't freak out. Everybody be like, oh, you're going to kill the tree. Whether it's your peach tree, cherry, plum, apple, fig, whatever. If you go ahead and tear that sucker head off, it's going to come back. Now, everybody remember, that fig tree was last year, that Chicago Hardy fig tree, the branches was loaded full of figs. Everybody remember last year that fig tree was as tall as my garage, if you remember. Okay? Let's go. Okay. This is a brand new branch. If you remember, I cut this fig tree all the way to the stump, all to the trunk. Look how thick that trunky is now, because it gave it time to grow. All the energy went into the trunk over the winter because there was no branches to protect. Now, look at this. There's my garage. As tall as the garage again. You see it? Tall as the garage, loaded full of fruit on every single branch. Every single branch is loaded with fruit. And it's as tall as the garage again. I can't make this up. This is it, spread out just like it was last year. Remember how wide it was? It touched this window. It's touching the window again. It's spread out into the driveway again, full of fruit, every branch. It didn't give me the first fruit that it does early in the year, but that's because it was growing. Now it's giving me that late harvest. So I'm still gonna get tons of fruit anyway. So everybody was saying, don't you don't take every branch. It's gonna die. I kept telling you, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. Calm down. It's all right. I've been at this a little while. That fig tree is like I never touched it. If I wanted to show you, I could go in there and show you every cut that I did. Missy Hawk says, I can't wait for my Orient pear to grow. Thanks for your guidance with my new fruit trees. Sister, anytime you need me, I got you. Anytime you need me. Because if you got fruit trees, you got money. Period. You got fruit trees, you got money. You think, and I'm going to say why I say if you got fruit trees, you got money. You could either sell your fruit for profit, for actual monetary gain, or you'll take your fruit and put it away, that's money that you ain't got to spend out of your household to feed your family. That's money. Or that's money that you could be feeding your livestock with, because bags of feed, whether it's chicken feed or pig feed or goat feed, costs at least $30 a bag. And depending on how many livestock you have, you may be coming out $200 every week or two. So if you're feeding your animals with all the fruit that's falling off your trees, imagine how much money you just saved. You just saved yourself thousands of dollars, right? You gotta look at it in other terms of, it's not just that you take an apple and you put it in your mouth and crunch and be happy. That apple can turn into anything. That apple can also turn into wine. That apple can also be turned into vinegar. That apple can also become medicinal. That apple can be turned into fuel, not just for your body. I can't say no more, but you understand. That's why I try my hardest to grow as much fruit as I possibly can, because you can turn that apple, turn those pears, and turn them peaches into way more stuff than just cobbler. Okay? That's all I'm here to do. Just put a little something on your mind. Everybody go check out my friend Gina versus Gina and tell her old lady said hi. All right? Thank you everybody for watching. I just wanted to come in here. This ain't gonna be one of them long spiels and none of that. I'm just feeling gratitude right now, and I just wanted to share that with you and hopefully put something on your mind and let you know, if these things aren't going your way by now, you may be doing something wrong. You know, you may be doing something wrong. So it's time to stop, regroup, and really think about why you're gardening, what you're trying to grow, and why, and reinforce all of that.